The following books, stories, plays, poems, or limericks you will hear on Right Time Radio are the intellectual property of the writers and authors mentioned. Any copying, recording, or reproduction of this work is strictly prohibited without the express written consent of the author. The content of this show is the individual expression of the author and does not necessarily reflect the views of the owner of this radio station.
It's the right time for Right Time Radio. I'm Tom Bruno.
And I'm Lynn Donovan.
Welcome back to Right Time Radio every Friday morning at 10
everybody.
o'clock. Hi, Lynn. Our guest today is Julie Gall.
Yes.
Hi.
We're excited to have her on the show. She has written a children's story called Darren the Dragon. So grab your kids while we're introducing her. We're gonna Lynn's gonna tell you a little bit about her, on a little biography about her, and then
She's
we're gonna
an
get
interesting gal.
Yes, and now this is Darren the Dragon. Do you want to tell them what it's about at all, or do we just want to read it?
We'll just read it.
Okay. Okay.
Come on.
So go get the kids.
Well, we'll interview her later, and we'll get a little more about why she wrote it and all that kind of stuff. But Tom, did you know that Julie has been writing and telling stories since she can remember? She told stories to her little sisters, her cousins, and the neighbor kids, and later to the children she babysat, and then to her own children. Sometimes to make them laugh, and sometimes to scare them.
Sounds like it'd be fun growing up around her.
It does. I think she'd been
Especially
fun
when
to...
she jumped out of the tree with her Mary Poppins umbrella.
Yeah, we were hearing all kinds of stories earlier. When she was 6 and her little sister was 4.5, she told her a scary story about a giant crow that lived in the basement because she did not want her sister going down there to play without her. And I guess it worked because she said it actually backfired and it scared her too. They did not play in the basement for some time afterwards. She moved to Canyon in the mid-90s and has been involved in many local productions. Most recently, some play called Haunted Java. Have you ever heard of that play, Tom?
I did. I got to do the lights and stuff for
You
that.
did, and
I
I wrote it.
Lynn Donovan's play, yes.
I wrote it and I directed it, and Julie was one of our cast members, and I got to know her better then, and it was just a wonderful encounter, and we had a great time. Anyway, she loves doing accents, which is very noticeable when you get to know Julie. And she likes being a quirky character. Her dream job would be doing voices for stories, commercials, and to be the story lady on the internet or some other venue. I think we could work that into some of what we do, couldn't we, Tom? Yeah.
Let's start a podcast.
Yeah, we should.
Or maybe we could just do it on the radio.
This particular story, Darren the Dragon, was written in 1993 for her children. She wrote a few about the brother dragons, but this one was the first. And we are so honored to have you here today, Julie.
Yeah,
Thank you. I'm excited to be here, too.
Good.
So you're going to get to hear one of her accents as she reads this today, which just makes it all that much more fun.
The alien accent.
Yeah, that one.
No, I'm just kidding.
So we're going to let you just take it away with your little intro, and then we're going to read the story.
All right.
Darren the Dragon by Julie Gall.
Thank you. This is the story of Darren the Dragon. His temper is worse than you could imagine. In the story, he learns about self-control, one of the life skills that makes us whole. It's written in rhyme with pictures to see. I hope you enjoy it as much as me. Yours very truly, Julie G. Darren the Dragon lived in the kingdom of Maldekar, for that's where dragons always are. He had a bad temper that came and went, which is why most of his time was spent in a cave away from others, because he didn't behave like his brothers. He would go into the cave to pout, or he might breathe fire, stomp and shout. Once, when Darren's toy wagon got broken, very angry words were spoken. His brother Danny said, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." But for Darren, that just wouldn't do. He was angry through and through. Darren shouted at Danny and hit him hard. That's when Dugan came into the yard. "Stop it, Darren," he said. "That's enough. You stop that nasty dragon stuff." Still Darren, refusing to behave, breathed fire at his brothers before running to his cave. Like two good little dragons, the brothers picked up the pieces of the broken wagon. They spent most of the day trying to fix it like new. They used some string and lots of glue. Later, Darren felt bad about what he'd done to his brothers. He decided he'd better go talk to his mother. Mother always gave good advice. She wanted her children to grow up nice. Be kind to others, be honest, be true. Always do the best that you can do. Darren had heard this advice before, but this time his mother had more. "Darren, I love you," his mother said, "but your temper we all do dread. You're always sorry after it's said and done. But that is not enough, my son. Danny was sorry he broke your toy wagon, but you behaved like a very bad dragon. You hit your brother and made him cry. I want you to think about it and tell me why." Darren thought, and he thought, and he thought it through. Then he said what he felt to be true. "Mother, I just got so mad, I couldn't control the feelings I had." "Darren, I love you, that you know, but you must learn self-control if you're going to grow up whole. Things will happen that make you mad. Things will happen that make you sad. Life, my son, is not always glad. There will be chances for you to take. There will be choices for you to make. Once you master self-control, it will help you reach your goal. Now, I want you to go to bed and think about what I have said." Darren thought all through the night, and he knew in his heart his mother was right. The next morning, when Darren awoke, next to his bed sat the wagon unbroke. It almost looked as good as new. Darren knew what he must do. He went to find his brother dragons, to thank them for fixing his broken wagon, and to tell them he was sorry for the way he had behaved. Then arm in arm, the three of them went into the cave. Nowadays, Darren practices self-control, though he's still got a ways to go. He gets along better with his brothers, it's true, and his mother's quite proud of him, too. The end.
Hey, thank you, Julie.
That was so good.
Thank you.
Yeah, every time you finish talking, I think, well, how come you don't normally speak that way? It sounds like your normal voice.
Thank you.
It's so natural for you. Very nice story. And what you can't see is the great illustrations that
right.
Julie has about these cute little brother dragons. But we're going to take a break and go to commercial. Thank you to Fremont Regional Hospice, and we'll be right back with more Right Time Radio.
This is Pastor Mike Wooldridge from Living Word Foursquare Church, inviting you to listen in to our new program called The Living Word on 1400 KRLN at 9 a.m. every Sunday morning. Our messages and lessons are right out of the Bible. We are a non-denominational church who believes in the written word. Join us for Sunday worship and fellowship at 10 a.m. at 1710 Mariposa Road in Canyon City. And tune in every Sunday at 9 a.m. to 1400 KRLN.
Canyon City's Workforce Center is hosting the U.S. Census Bureau on Wednesday, October 23rd from 9 to noon as they are seeking 2020 census takers. Federal funding is allocated based on census numbers, so stand up and be counted. Applicants need to meet the following criteria: U.S. citizen, 18 and older, have a valid Social Security number, registered with Selective Service, have a valid email address, and be registered on connectingcolorado.com. Want flexible hours and a part-time job? Apply at the Workforce Center on October 23rd and get ready to start counting.
Oh my, I have worked and I still can't get my safe open. Captain Keyman, Call the professionals in Middick's Locksmith Shop. They can get into your safe really fast. How fast could he get into my safe? Most of the time, they can get into your safe in under 2 hours. So how do I get a hold of Middick's? Just give them a call at 275-7787. I must go now and help others in need.
Hello, I'm Randy. You know, the Randy Man. I joined Absolute Computer Repair, located at 621 Main Street, inside Absolute Accounting, where I fix computers by the books. When your computer or laptop needs emergency care or a routine tune-up, call Randy of Absolute Computer Repair at 315-6333 for an on-site appointment or bring it in to 621 Main, and I'll get it up and running in tip-top shape. Remember, 315-6333. The Randy Man can, 'cause he fixes it with care and makes it run like new.
KRLN weather, mostly sunny, windy, and cooler today. West winds gusting 15 to 30 this afternoon. The high today around 70. Mostly clear tonight, the low near 31. Sunny and mild tomorrow, the high around 66. 40 degrees was our low this morning after a high of 81 yesterday. Currently from the weather station, 66 degrees.
Talk Radio 1400, KRLN.
Welcome back to Right Time Radio. Again, I'd like to say thank you. This is Tom Bruno. I'd like to say thank you to Fremont Regional Hospice because they sponsor our show every week, and we're glad to have them be able to do this. And today, it's sad in one way and glad in another. Tay Jeffords is our producer. Say hi, Tay.
Howdy, y'all.
Howdy. And that's because Carrie's not feeling well, so our prayers go out to you, Carrie,
Yes, Carrie.
if you're listening.
Drink lots
I'm
of
sure
water.
she is. She's keeping an eye on things, so to speak.
Yeah, Tay says don't come to work.
Don't come to work
Until you
sick.
get well.
Don't mean don't go there. Where you're gonna give me. She's gonna be up. She's gonna be calling me here. And what?
Also like to say thanks to my son Lucas for writing that the Right Time Radio theme music.
Yeah.
We don't always say thank you to him, but we really love our music. All right, so Lynn, let's talk to Julie here.
Let's talk to Julie.
She's an interesting character,
You
and
are so
with a
interesting.
stress on character.
You know, I love it that creative people can be found in every walks of life. Julie is a legal assistant. And do you want to say who you work for, or are we keeping that a secret?
Oh, it's not too much of a secret. I work for the Fremont County District Attorney's Office.
Yeah.
I've been there since 1998.
Okay. And, you know, you think of a
21
legal...
years.
You think of a legal assistant as, you know, kind of a boring person, but not Julie.
No.
She's extremely interesting.
Yes, and when she played that part, Lucia, was that what you were?
Lucia,
Lucia.
yeah.
Do the Italian accent now, but I can't.
She was. In Haunted Java, I had a character that was started out to be Lucas, and it ended up being a woman, so we made her Lucia, and Julie took it and just ran away with it and gave it an Italian persona, and then called her Lucia.
Yeah,
That was fun.
Read this with an Italian accent, just the first part.
This is the story of a daring the dragon. His temper is worse than you can imagine. He didn't eat all of his spaghetti, and he got in trouble.
What's the matter? You don't like my
You
spaghetti.
don't like my spaghetti.
Nice.
She's wonderful, isn't she?
How many different accents can you do?
Oh, I don't know. I used to do lots and lots.
Can you do their Swedish accent?
The Swedish? Yeah. I like the
Put the
meatballs.
chicken in the pot.
Put the chicken in the pot and don't forget the potatoes.
Do you ever answer the phone like that at the district attorney's office?
I used to
That'd
on
be
my
hilarious.
I used to on my own phone have I used to have it go. You've reached the office of Julie Gore. Please leave a message. She'll get back to you straight away. Thank you.
That's funny.
That is great. Why haven't we had her on this show before now?
Yeah,
Maybe because
we're always looking for voice
possibly
actors.
because she works on Fridays and she has to get time off, and we have
Yes.
to think ahead of time. Well, we will definitly have you on
I'll
again.
talk to your boss.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, not only are you an amazing actor, but you also are an artist. You drew all these pictures, and I know you can't
Cute
see it.
little
I'm
dragons.
sorry, but there's dragons and there's caves and there's just all kinds of stuff in here. And I think you might be contemplating the possibility of putting this into a published document.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Making a
so-
book out of it.
Yeah, and so it'll be really cool. It'd be a great book for everyone to read to their children about
Thank
this
you.
moral. And so when she does, we will definitely get back on here and let you guys know. And we're going to have you back on the show.
Thank you.
Another time too, and we'll keep everybody up to date on her. But you've been here since the 90s in Canyon City, and you got into theater as soon as you could. Because that's what you love to do. You mentioned a few of the plays that you've been in. There was Bingo Queen. Help me out here.
Yep, Bingo Queen, and the one that Kathy Herron did, she did a melodrama. I can't remember the name of it, but I was Hell and High Water.
And it was a cowboy melodrama, right?
We talked like we were from the South and everything.
Yeah. You talked right. So, okay.
Oh, no.
So, Kathy Herron, call in and tell us what the name of that show was.
That was a blast.
Yeah, Kathy,
Now,
hope you're listening.
Where I saw you, though, was the Christmas play that Kathy Herron also did. It was the opening night before Christmas. And what character did you play on that one?
Mary. I was Mary.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, and Joseph was Ira Carpenter's son.
Yes, quite
He was
young.
like 16 years old, and he was about 2 heads taller than you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember y'all standing
made it
side
comical.
by side. It was very cute.
That was fun.
That was a fun play. And Tom, you were in that play briefly.
I just read it at the
You
beginning.
read
I
The Night
read
Before
The Night Before
Christmas.
Christmas. And Kathy Herron directed that one too, right? And she was really worried that I was going to insert some ad-libbing into The Night Before Christmas. Because I did during the rehearsal, and she was like scowling at me. And
The only thing I remember you did was you told everybody you had compressed candy canes, because what you actually had was the little round peppermints.
I don't remember that. The little peppermints, yeah.
Yeah, the little peppermints. You told the
They were
kids it
squished
was
together and glued.
compressed candy
Glued
cane.
together with Elmer's
Don't
glue.
lie to children like that.
They wonder, and then they suck and they try to taste the glue in the candy. I remember during the performance though, looking up and at Kathy, and she was like on the edge of her seat, wondering if I was going to do something, but she just laughed. But
The things she
Julie,
puts
that
up
was
with us
She's a
theatrical
good sport,
people.
yeah.
She is a good sport. She's awesome. We've had her on here before too. She writes
Cowboy
poems and reads them extremely well, and so we've had her on here before.
This would be a good time to say,
Yes, okay.
if you're out there listening to this and you are a writer and would like to have some of your stuff read on the show, realize, as you notice, we hardly swore at all today. So your submissions have to be family friendly, but we would love to submit it for you to submit it and to expose you to the world,
Right.
so to speak.
How can they do that, Tom?
They can write us, give us an email at righttimeradio@gmail.com. That's WRITE, righttimeradio@gmail.com.
Right.
And Lynn is such an awesome administrator, 97% score, or 98, 99.
Something like that, yeah.
Probably over 100. She will respond to you, and we'll read that and let you know. And we always respond, but the answer may be no, especially if it's mean stuff. So no, we'll send it to us, and then we'll talk to you, and we'll see whether we can make it appropriate for our show.
And even if it was written a little harshly, sometimes things can be edited down, and then it's appropriate for the show. So we will definitely talk to you if you submit something to us. Poetry, dramas, stories, short stories. We can do excerpts of books, which you've heard us do many of.
Right.
Just all kinds of things. If you write stuff, let us know about it, and we will
like this,
talk to you.
in the next quarter of the hour, we're going to read a seduction story, right?
Yeah, because
That probably perks some ears up right there.
It's
What were you
family
saying?
friendly. Okay. So back to Julie.
yes, back to Julie. Julie, I want you to tell me, you told me earlier, but I want you to tell our audience about one time you did an Ace Hardware commercial.
Yes, many, many years ago, I did an Ace hardware commercial for the local Ace here. And to get the job, you had to send in a picture of yourself. So I had my son take a picture of me cleaning our toilets. And I had an Italian scarf on my head and a man's shirt and a plunger.
And so you looked like Lucille Ball? or
Yeah,
something?
yes, that was exactly what I was going for, like comical, like that. And I was holding the plunger up, and I got the job.
Cool.
Hey.
Cool.
Now, how many times can you say you got a job because you were cleaning a toilet?
Exactly. And
I said, my thing that I sent in, I said, dirty deeds done dirt cheap.
I tell you, creativity and clever ways of saying that, it gets attention.
It does. How fun, though, to do a commercial. And
that was fun.
I guess on TV?
It ran on TV for local TV, I guess, for a while. And I always was my kids were always trying to, back then we had, what do they call, VHS tapes. They were always trying to catch it, you know, but we never did.
And you said you actually got in trouble a little bit for that?
Well, yeah, I was supposed to ask permission from where I worked to be able to do something like that because it was seen at the jail and everywhere. So I got kind of recognized.
Like, hey, isn't that paralegal lady?
Cleaning the toilets.
What is it? Better to beg forgiveness than ask permission sometimes.
Absolutely.
What a fun time you've had
All
since
right.
you've lived
and
in
how
Canyon
old
City.
are these kids that you wrote this for? When I thought, oh, well, looking at Julie now, I was thinking, well, they're probably teenagers now. I don't know if they would read this anymore.
Yeah.
But they're older than that, huh?
Yeah, my daughter's 36 and my son's 33.
How does that happen?
Well, she started very young. Julie's a very beautiful woman, and she does not look like she's old enough to have 36-year-old children.
Speaking of local plays, let's give a little plug for Ray Linebaugh is doing a play called The Whistler, and that's going to be done by Fremont Civic Theater at the Old Presbyterian Church. I'm pretty sure the same place that the Christmas show was at last year.
that pretty one downtown.
A Presbyterian church.
And it is it's their play for Christmas, and I think it's coming up here. Maybe after the break, I'll have the dates for it.
Yeah,
but that should be fantastic. Make sure that you go look it up on Fremont Civic Theater. It's being promoted there, and Ray Linebaugh wrote this one. He's directing it and he's in it. And he is he's an ex-Marine. Well, you're never an ex-Marine, I've heard.
Yeah, you're a former Marine.
But he is a great guy. He's a Marine chaplain.
Oh,
so
nice.
It's a great play. I got to read it before he actually started producing it.
Are you in it?
No, I'm not in it.
Oh, you're not in it. Okay. You should have
been. But that
been.
Lady Talia, we all know.
Yeah,
is probably
Talia
gonna
Smith.
Be in it.
Awesome. She's amazing.
Yeah, lots of great actors.
She was Lily in Haunted Java.
Do you have any more questions for our young guest here?
You know, do you have anything else going on in your world that you want everybody to know about?
Not really, not right now.
Not on the radio.
Thank you for asking. Not on the radio.
Bet she will be soon because she can't stay away from that stage very long, and she shouldn't because she's so talented.
Thank you for having me.
Before you're welcome. Thanks for coming in. Before we go into our commercial, let me just say, if you want to hear Miss Julie Gall's story again, go to our website at righttimeradio.my-free.website.
Right.
Is that right?
That's right.
That one's the hardest one for me.
I know it.
Righttimeradio.my-free.website and go to the previous broadcast.
Previous broadcast tab, and you will be able to listen to all of our previous broadcasts except 2 because 2 didn't quite get recorded. Nobody's fault. Just mechanical stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, go on there, look for this date, and then you will be able to hear her story again. And you can tell your friends, and they can listen to it off in California and everywhere else that they are.
My kids, thank you. That's neato.
Yeah, it is neato.
Yeah, it's on there forever until Google takes it off. Whatever.
Correct.
So we'll be right back with the courtship of Ariel after these messages.
Hi, this is Ashley Smith, Mayor Pro Tem and Canyon City mayoral candidate. It has been a pleasure serving you these past 4 years. The roads are getting fixed, trails built, Centennial Park improved and vibrant with activity, and a 238% increase in new development. As your new mayor, I'll continue working hard bringing new life and vibrancy to Canyon as a whole, and especially along the riverfront. Address homelessness and revamp codes in City Hall to be more business friendly. A positive look to the future is a vote for Ashley Smith.
Tune in weekdays to AM 1400 in the 4 o'clock hour for the Senior Minute. Useful whether you're a senior or not. These minute segments are meant to improve your life and lifestyle. Messages range from health and wellness to practical and positive solutions. All brought to you each week by Skyline Ridge Nursing and Rehabilitation. Getting to know and treat each senior individually and independently as possible. Call for more information at 275-0665.
If your heart is full of light, then your eyes shine with generosity and grace, and your body follows the light. If your heart is full of darkness, then your eyes are obscured with fear and greed, and the rest of you follows suit.
Dr. Michael Ziegler, this week on The Lutheran Hour.
The Lutheran Hour is brought to you by St. John's Lutheran Church in Canyon City. Listen Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. here on 1400 KRLN.
The 5th annual Boo at the Bridge is set for October the 19th from 4 to 8 p.m. This is something your little goblins wait patiently for every year. Experience the Royal Gorge Bridge at night. Tickets are available online at booatthebridge.com. Kids 3 and under are free. It's the 5th annual Boo at the Bridge, October 19th from 4 till 8 p.m.
Star Country 104.5 FM, your home for a better variety of country and more high school sports. Proud to present live coverage of high school football. This Friday night, the lights will shine bright on Citizen Stadium when the Canyon City Tigers play host to the Harrison Panthers. Hi, this is JJ Valentine, inviting you to join me along with Tracy Rink for all the exciting action. Our pregame show begins at 6:30 with a kickoff at 7. Friday Night Lights, Canyon City and Harrison, online at network1sports.com and Star Country 104.5 FM.
KRLN weather, mostly sunny, windy, and cooler today. West winds gusting 15 to 30 miles per hour this afternoon. A high today around 70. Mostly clear skies tonight, the low near 31. Sunny and mild tomorrow with a high around 66. 81 was our high yesterday with a low this morning of 40. Now at the Weather Center, 64 degrees.
Talk Radio 1400 KRLN.
We're back with Right Time Radio, and we have got a little short story that we're going to share with you today. This story was written by Tom Bruno, my co-host. Thanks for being here, Tom.
I didn't have a choice.
No, he didn't. Anyway, so you wrote this short story a while back. You don't remember exactly when?
About 8 years ago, but I've tweaked it a little bit.
And here I've been trying to teach you how to write romance, and you had it in you all along, and I just didn't realize it. Aww.
There's not enough showing. Or
so that it's in a different element, but it's still romance, and it's a seduction story, as you said. So take it away, and let's hear the story.
The Courtship of Ariel. The obsession continued to rise, a one-way trip. August deftly pushed and pulled the man-length levers that shifted the great rudders, nosing the obsession into the stratospheric tempest before him. She was not designed for these gales. A few degrees off direct headwind and broadside forces would break her in half. It was a minor concession that the wind issued from his destination, dead ahead. 4 arched gates of cloud surrounded the fortress. Each storm-formed gate was topped by a thunderhead that stretched upward into the thinnest realms of air. Lightning illuminated these airy ramparts, and the sheer volume of storm clouds obscured anything that lay within. Blasting from the stormy gates, constructed by the servants of Ariel, the great gusts buffeted August's airship. These were the wards of her castle. Ariel had warned him, another concession, that Zephyra and Monsu, paired for aeons, would easily sunder his relatively weak and lumbering behemoth. And she, while mischievously caressing his cheek as a gentle breeze, had whispered these threats 2 days ago when the obsession cruised magnificently above a calm and endless sea. Taurinod and Mystra, independently, muster such storms as to break the bellies of warships upon waves. she had whispered. How fond I must be of thee, to grant thee this foretelling. Flee. August, fool only in his passion, had breathed in her words. On her breath swirled the scent of the wild wind's soul, and he thrilled at the taste of it. Sea spray and driven snow, autumn and chinook, the freshest hint of moisture before the summer rains. All winds were her offspring, all airs her dominion. Her warning was his invitation. Crack! One of the rudders fell slack as the massive surface it controlled snapped off in the gale. August didn't even look, knowing the barn door-sized starboard rudder would have flown off behind him like an autumn leaf. He shifted 2 other rudders farther starboard to compensate as best he could, and he grinned. Perhaps Ariel would kill him. Perhaps she toyed or tested his resolve. He held no doubt, however, she could certainly kill him if she desired. Ahead, one of her Titan wards, he knew not which Titan created which storm, sent a dark cloud hurtling into him. Instantly his vision was obscured, his open gondola drenched in thick mists. In a small way, August had prepared for this. He wiped the water from his goggles with his scarf, but he could see no better. It was not the moisture, but the electricity accompanying this thunderhead that posed the most danger. It did not keep him waiting. A silver streak split the air across his bow. An instant later, thunder rattled through him, shaking his very marrow. Before it died out, another bolt struck, hitting the bowsprit, shattering it like dry wood. Another hit the envelope in front of him, the force of thunder casting him to the floor of the gondola. But though these blasts damaged, they did not ignite, for he had strongly suspected this battle would come. And for this, he had filled his ship with incombustible helium. Ariel must know this. Queen of all the gaseous elements, she would not have been surprised to see his ship survive without exploding into flame. The lightning, however, had burned a hole through his fair ship's skin, and he would lose altitude. He hoped he could make it to the castle of clouds before he fell below it. He leapt back to his feet and trimmed the ship with competent adjustments. In the continuing flurry, the cloud blew past, and once again the gates could be seen. And this time, with one of the monumental thunderheads missing, the castle beyond rose like a cumulus tower. For such it was, Ariel's castle, surrounded always by storm and rings of clouds, moving where she willed it. Somehow he had lost only 1 engine to the lightning. With the remaining 7, he pressed on. The slow approach, martial and grand, the view magnificent and completely exposed. In what does a spirit of air live? Her towers didn't need to conform to human dimensions. Neither must she build utilities, or kitchens, or baths, or bedrooms. No, her domicile was built for one purpose: to please her with its grandeur and glory. Several towers roiled in the heights, churning like the depths of a cauldron with greenish black clouds. Others swirled at different rates, some graceful as dancing, some violent as tornadoes, which indeed they were. From the sheeny swirl of sleet on the tallest tower, 2 eyes gazed over the domain. They were Ariel's eyes, surveying the cloudy chasm and canyons arrayed below her, surveying the approach of the obsession and its sole occupant. August peered up and into those eyes. He looked into them with confidence, but not without losing a part of himself in their mesmerizing whirl. The orange and blue of sunset stirred slowly in the iris, yet stars glinted through the colors as if pinpoints of penetrating lightning. Distracting as she was, a part of him competently and constantly guided the airship directly toward the opening of her nearest gate. Evidently, seeing that she could not dissuade his resolve, Ariel formed a body around her eyes, stood on the back of a cloud steed, and rode it down to face the intrepid intruder. Though the steed pranced, she remained poised and nearly still, her nimbus skirt flowing around the steed beneath her. Her eyes, like a desert storm, never left his, but her body was that of a gentle, wispy woman. But never did August forget the violence at her command. In a mild stirring of air she spoke. "Arrogant interloper." August kept his face guarded, steady. "You ignored my warning." She emphasized her displeasure with a chill breeze through the gondola. "That you conceived this quest, a quest for me. Arrogance." He couldn't keep his mouth from quirking into a smile. With his eyes, he adored her. She accused once more. "You presume upon my mercy, knowing that I claim none. You presume upon my patience, knowing that I live only in the now. And you presume on my affection, having no assurance." He responded with respect and passion. "Your charge is true. I make no excuse or defense. And it is because of who you are that you are whom I seek." What remained of the bowsprit of the obsession moved to the threshold of her castle, about to penetrate the gate. A fury and a look of amazed fierceness blew across her face. Alternating blasts of desert heat and Arctic cold blew across his. Did he detect a hint of confusion? But fury won the battle for her countenance. Unbridling her rage, she loosed the wind steed below her, who reared and pawed the airship above him, tearing great holes in the envelope with its airy hooves. She herself whisked into a whirlwind, multiplying in size until she was 5 times larger than his obsession, larger than he could take in. In a mighty swipe of a cyclonic hand, she ripped the front of his airship completely off, fully a third of it swirling through her ethereal body in shreds and shards. Instantly, his beautiful obsession sank. With the bow of his ship gone, he could nearly reach out from the gondola and touch the cloudy gate before him, the entrance to her fortress. Then the ship dove, a stomach-lurching, heart-breaking dive toward the mountainous ground far below. But Ariel's fury was not finished. Enormous in her visage, she twirled her long skirts, and they lashed out like the tail of a dragon. The knife edge of her wrath sliced the gondola from the belly of the ship. August ducked, and the solid wind shaved through the ropes and cables a foot above his head. His control levers splintered. The remaining envelope lurched upward, freed of the weight of the gondola. And the gondola itself heaved forward, ejecting August into the tempest. For a moment, August despaired. His quest lost, his airship shattered, his life forfeit. But the freedom of his fall hit him, and he was flying, falling, through the misty foundations of Ariel's castle. He spread his arms and flew. Bending his arms and arching his back, he instinctively flew through the canyons of air surrounding her castle. Loosed from all contact with anything solid, touching nothing, he was free, embraced only by his beloved air. Through footless halls of air he soared. Glory! In the great gulches of sun-split clouds he rolled and arced, soared and swung. Unfettered by the mechanical limits of his flying machine, August flew. The time seemed endless, but it did pass. Plummeting below the castle ramparts, the ground reimposed its presence. August did not fear, instead curving his arms and body as to carve an arch around the nearest fast-approaching mountain. Such was his joy. He saw before him a great canyon, of rock, not cloud, and aimed his sailing form down its long-stretching but finite length. He planned to maximize his flight as he approached the rim of the dark crevasse below. But the canyon edge seemed to slow. The air seemed to thicken. Almost imperceptibly, he decelerated, slowing until he was hovering, head first, with sheer cliffs dropping off to either side of him below. Ariel. Now motionless, August dropped his feet and stood on a column of solid air. Looking right, he saw her, standing on a cliff edge. Her form was human, her face amazed wonder. Then she smiled. Walking off the cliff, she strode across the solidified air toward him. When she got close enough, he saw her sunset eyes with the twilight stars. They glowed with reflected admiration. You embrace my realm. Embrace me, as if you were made of air instead of earth. August smiled back, reached for her hand, and drew him to her. I was made for the air, if not of it. And thus she fell, for him, finally.
Wow, that was good. Good job, Tom.
Yeah, very nice.
You know, all this time I thought I needed to teach you how to write romance.
No.
I think
That's pretty good.
you had it in you all along. Elsa must have taught you all of that.
I just got to meet her the other night. Very nice lady, by the way.
She is.
Yeah.
I love Elsa so much.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we were over there at Papa's. So.
Cool.
So I'd like to say we're going to break, but we don't have one in there for some reason. So we're just going to keep talking.
We are. And we can do that because we're good at that.
Yeah, see, there you go.
So, Tom, may I interview you about your story?
Yes. Can I be nervous?
Yes, go ahead and be nervous. You can pace back and forth and all that stuff. No, I'm really curious. You don't know exactly when you wrote this? Can you think?
I remember writing it. It was it was in our old house, so it was about 8 years ago.
Okay.
Then I've tweaked it since then.
Yeah. And so what sparked this idea? Because this is a really great idea.
Well, I've always loved to fly. I know Julie doesn't like to fly, but I've always loved to fly. I love the air, and I've flown ultralights, and I was in the Air Force, and I got to fly high-speed jets in there. Mm-hmm. And so this was like I thought, well, if you're so in love with the air, why don't we personify her and make her Ariel, which in Shakespeare's, what is it, The Tempest, is the spirit of the air. In The Tempest, though, it's a guy.
Okay.
And I'm not into that, so we're just...
Exactly.
This is a female spirit.
The air is female. Mm-hmm. That's cool. Well, you say Julie doesn't like to fly, but she told us earlier that she, as a child, always wanted to be a crow. And so she
something like that, yeah.
Fly through the air like
fascinated.
Like a bird.
Yeah,
exactly.
But I just don't like to be in a plane.
In the planes. That's because you're not in control, right?
Right.
I've always thought it'd be cool to be able to just take off and be a bird. So this was really a good story. It was very well written, and as you always do. That's why I love writing with you, because you're such a creative writer. This is so good. Can the writers get a copy of this anywhere?
The writers?
The readers?
Oh, the readers.
Yes.
Yes. If you wish to get a copy of this, you can just email me. I'll give you my email. It's thomasjbruno@gmail.com. No, Thomas J. Bruno author, I think it is.
Okay.
Yes. Thomas J. Bruno author at gmail.com. And if you email me there, I'll send you a copy. You're signing up for my newsletter in that act, but it's
right. And then
so far we've had no copies of that.
This is your gift for signing up for your newsletter.
Right.
And by signing up for
I'm kind of new to that. So
yes, you are.
Be patient with me, readers, but I'd be glad. And then, if you like my stuff, then I'll let you know when it's available. And but this one will be my free gift to you.
Right.
The Courtship of Ariel.
By signing up for their newsletter, they're going to get updated information from time to time about what you are publishing. And speaking of what you are publishing, there's something happening on October 22nd. What is that?
That's this Tuesday. It is this 4 days away.
Tuesday, I know.
That is the release of the Beyond the Veil series. Lynn Donovan and I have spearheaded this effort, a multi-author series, and we believe it's the first of the kind. We've looked on Amazon and haven't seen anything like it. It is a mashup of science fiction, romance, and fantasy.
Yes.
So, and just to give you a little idea of what it is, so there's an overarching plot through all the series. So there's 5 different authors. Each one writes their own book, except on the first one, the one that's released on Tuesday. That one is being released by Lynn and I. We both co-authored that.
Right.
And it's fun to co-author stuff. And especially Lynn and I have very similar voice, and so it worked really well together. I didn't see there's no disjointedness to this one. It would have flowed really well.
Yeah.
So
we only mud wrestled a couple of times over a few issues.
Pow, pow, ouch. Yeah, and there was a few of those.
There was. We'll admit that.
Yeah.
But that's what made our writing gooder.
Yeah.
It made our writing gooder.
It did. So anyway, October 22nd, you can go to Amazon.com. Actually, you can pre-order it now if you go.
Yes, you can.
If you Google Thomas J. Bruno and or Lynn Donovan,
Yep.
you'll see a deep blue cover with some eyes peering out at you. It's one of the creatures in our series, and you can find Beyond the Veil series, and the first one is called Beyond the Veil, Prologue Book 1.
Yeah, and I do encourage you to put in the search Beyond the Veil and then one of our names, Tom Bruno or Lynn Donovan. And actually, it's Thomas J. Bruno.
Thomas J. Bruno, that's right.
But I encourage you to do that because when you just put in Beyond the Veil, you're going to get a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff written under that title. So
and
just
none of
to
it is
save
like
you
ours,
searching so much, just put Beyond the Veil, Thomas J.
And
Bruno.
it's pretty exciting, but we're offering it at 99 cents. So
Exactly.
it's not an expensive read. It's like you
you
give
get
more
a
to the
feel.
person at the corner with the sign.
And what the purpose of
And,
this book is to give you a feel for the series. We're calling it the prologue book. So it's like a long prologue to let you know what the series is about. And then the next book that's coming out 3 weeks later was written by an author named Thomas J. Bruno. And that one is called Entangled in the Shade.
Yes.
Yes.
And the prologue book does have some romance in it. It's got a lot of funny stuff, and then it's got some big action stuff near the end.
It does.
So the action is what the inciting event, as a writer would look at it.
Yeah.
It's what causes the whole entanglement thing. So there's
And our beta readers are giving us some good feedback, so they are enjoying the stories. That's always encouraging.
Yes.
Now, the regular books, which are not a prologue book, they are more of a full story of a romance and a fantastical creature. How much are we selling those for?
$2.99.
So all the books will be $2.99 after you get the prologue book of 99 cents.
And so, I've got the first full book. Then Lynn's book comes out after that, and that's Entangled with Fairies.
Yes.
Then Travis Perry, who's a great writer out of Texas, he's going to be doing the fourth book. Then Parker J. Cole will be doing the fifth book. And we're not going to tell you all the creatures that are involved in that one.
No, but they're cool.
They're all interesting. And then a guy named M.B. Mooney, his real name is Britt, but he authors under M.B. Mooney. He's going to be doing the sixth book. So all those are coming out. Most of them are completed. And
we're releasing them every 3 weeks. So we'll start with the first one on the 22nd, and you can look at a calendar and give yourself the next
I think it's November
dates.
12th is the
I believe
next
you're
one.
right.
And then
December
3rd.
That's as far as I know on top of my head. So
Right. That'll give you a hint of those.
Yeah.
But they're fun.
They are fun. It's a good story.
So
Interesting. If you like Quantum Leap and Eureka and those kind of stories, you're going to love this one.
Somebody told me, Marianne Burke, who is the editor-in-chief of our Florence newspaper, said that she thought it sounded like Stranger Things.
Yeah. I could compare
I've
this
never
to
seen
Stranger
that one.
Things.
I saw like
It's really good.
a trailer for it, but I've never seen it.
Winona Ryder was in that. Yeah. Really good show. So
All right.
I would say it's similar to that, not quite as scary as that.
Oh, good.
So, yeah.
Oh, is that scary? You don't?
Yeah, it's pretty
Do they
scary.
have,
To me,
like,
it's scary. My kids
giant
love it.
ravens
It's
in the
scary.
basement or something?
No.
Well, no, but there's creatures in the down under world. So,
Yeah.
All right.
Scarier than
Kind of like
big
our
ravens.
haunted houses here.
Yeah.
Yeah, see?
The haunted abbey is pretty scary.
Yeah.
too.
Hey, I'll jump in it too. Yeah, so we just reminded people about the Abbey is going to have a haunted house.
Yep.
Also, the Elks Club in Florence is going to have a haunted house this year.
Yeah.
And we're going to interview that. I just got a text before. We're going to interview them on Tuesday.
Oh, cool.
Boys and Girls Club's going to have one. And
Nice.
Oh, there's
yeah,
going to
so
be all
they're going to be
kinds.
everywhere.
Maybe,
Very
there should be maybe be a pub crawl to haunted houses or something.
Well, they have one at Boo at the Zoo. I don't know if I want to crawl all the way up there. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah. Boo at the
that's coming.
Zoo.
Yeah, it's coming up this Saturday. So there's a lot of stuff.
Is
going
that
on.
at
Yeah.
Cheyenne Mountain Zoo?
No, right here at the Boo. Boo at the Bridge. I'm sorry, not Boo at the Zoo.
Oh, okay.
Boo at the Bridge. They are having Boo at the Zoo at Cheyenne Mountain. Yeah, but
At
Boo at the
Royal
Bridge.
Gorge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Going to be up there.
Well, speaking of Halloween, next week on Right Time Radio, we've got some fun stuff. It's more than one thing. So
a couple
be
stories.
Sure and tune in.
And those will be stories that are a little spooky.
I'll hold you, Tom. It'll be okay. But they're written by local authors and done on the local radio. That's what we do, Right Time Radio.
Right. Local authors, local voice actors,
that's
and local production with Tay Jefford.
Today, anyway.
Yeah.
Carrie will hopefully
Thank
be
you,
back.
Tay.
You're very welcome.
Yeah,
Carrie
thanks.
will be back hopefully next week. And
Yeah.
of course, as we said earlier, we wish her well.
Yes. Carrie,
So
get
if
better.
you're
We
listening,
need
get
you.
better. But don't bring that bad stuff here.
No. Please
Nobody
don't.
wants to know.
All right.
Well, Tay, you have a great voice
Thanks.
for radio. Have
Well,
you ever
appreciate it.
thought
Thank
about
you.
doing this?
You know,
on a regular
yeah, I
basis?
thought about it a little bit. So they've kind of convinced me to kind of hang around and do a few things. So here I am.
Oh, cool. Well, glad to have you today.
Well,
Thanks for helping
it's
us
it's
out.
The pleasure's all mine, really. It was
Yeah.
very interesting. Nice to meet you too, man.
Thank you to our guest, Julie.
Thank you,
Julie
Julie.
Gall. Thanks for coming
you
in.
guys. I love
We
this.
want you back.
And
All
thank
right.
you.
I'll come back.
Thank you, Fremont Regional Hospice, for sponsoring us, guys. Everybody have a great day.